welcome back to the Mom's View. I'm Colette. This is Kaylee, and we're excited to be here today.
So excited, always excited.
Yes.
If you want to, you could count how many times we say excited.
I know, we really do. But you know what? It is just the word of the year.
Just the word of life.
Word of life.
I hope you're all as excited as we are.
Yeah. We miss Carly, though. She will be back soon. I don't know exactly when. We are planning a guest interview that she's bringing a guest on that she will be on. So
Yay!
we're excited to see her. But we are recognizing all of your comments saying that you missed her personality.
We
and
do.
we want you to know that we feel the same way. And hopefully if Carly's watching this, we miss you and we love you, Carly. And we can't wait to talk about baby Lenny.
We can't wait to be excited with you.
To be excited. I know that word. I've even tried to get it out of my YouTube videos and I can't.
I know. Sometimes when I'm editing, I'll edit it out. I'll edit out when I say excited too much and cute too much. Because
really?
I say cute a lot. I'm just going to give everyone watching my videos a little break.
That's cute.
It is really cute, right?
So our first question comes from Katie Jane 3 Loves. I have 3 sweet boys and always feeling guilty not being able to give them as much attention as they need between them. I'm a stay-at-home mom and loving it, but I can get a bit overwhelmed. How do you manage to spread your love around your kids, and what do you like to do for some me time? Great question. What would be your answer to that?
You don't have to feel like you have a balance of giving each kid the same amount of time. Mm-hmm. I think as a mom, you have a beautiful intuition and you can sense what child might need a little more in that moment. And don't be afraid to show one child a little more attention and love one day if you feel like they need it.
Yeah.
If you have a child who's really acting out or doing something that you can kind of tell that they might need a little more attention that day, give it to them. I think that as a mom, it's hard to find balance. We talked about that. You don't need to feel so much pressure to have that balance, but more just go off of what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And it's okay if it's not equal all of the time, because you will get to each child and you will give each child the love and attention that they need. Just follow your heart and that little something inside of you, that intuition.
Yeah. And I think recognizing too that each kid is different. Mm-hmm. They all don't need the same amount. They all don't need the same kind of showing of love.
Right.
Too. One thing that you do for one kid might not even mean anything to the other kid. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to know what that is. I think, each of my kids is so different, and some of them are more like me and some are less like me. And I don't always know how to show them love.
Right.
And it's still a struggle. It's something that I'm still learning every day. Was I showing that kid love, or was I just, or are they okay, Mom, whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know.
Children also have love languages. I mean, everyone has a love language, and there is a book, and I would love to read it, and maybe we should and kind of talk about it, about your child's love language.
Oh, is there one specifically for children?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, very cool, right?
Need to read it.
And there's also a book about birth order, and that plays a role in different things. I know something that I can tell with Gage. Gage is, I've talked about it a lot. He's my really easy kid. Mm-hmm. And so I feel sometimes I don't want to say gets neglected, but he's never one that's asking for attention. Right. I know when he needs attention, he hugs me more. Mm-hmm. And so his love language is holding him and hugging him and giving him love in that way. So I try every single day, no matter what is happening, no matter what child is screaming at me or whatever, I always try to hug him a little bit longer or give him extra hugs, because that's his love language.
Right.
So I think it is really important to notice that all of our children are different. We're all different. Mm-hmm. And how we feel love is different than how our kids feel love.
Right.
So, and I don't think Braylee's not one that's ever wanted me to hold her or cuddle her. Mm-hmm. Braylee. And so, her love language is very different. The little ones, of course, always want to be held. But and as they get older, then you think you have it figured out, and then they get older and and
then everything
turn into
changes.
Teenagers, and they're different humans, and then you have to figure it out again. So
it's true.
Yeah.
But don't judge yourself, and don't give up either.
Yeah.
Just keep trying. The other part like how to find me time. Sometimes I think that doing things with your kids can help with me time. Like sometimes I get so frustrated that I'm not doing enough, and I'm getting frustrated because I don't have enough me time. But when I actually sit down and like read a book with my kids, even though I feel like this is for you guys, it's not for me, I gain a lot from it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm connecting with them. I feel like I get to see them laugh and smile and, you know, connect in a different way with the book. So I think sometimes doing things like that can help you, even though you think, no, I just need to get out of this situation and like be alone.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes that is what you need.
Right.
But I've noticed sometimes for me, when I'm having a hard time, I'm getting stressed out, I want to isolate myself. And when I do that, it's not always helpful. That when I actually connect with my kids and try to do that, it's actually better for me.
Yeah.
So sometimes trying to pay attention to what you are really needing, I guess. I don't know if that helps at all.
I think it's hard when your kids are little, because now I'm at the point where I'll be like, Braylee, I need to take a bath because I need some me time. And she's old enough that she can take care of things. When my kids were little, I feel like there were times, because you can't always get away, that I was like, everyone needs to sit down and watch a movie. And I'm going to be like in the kitchen so I can see what's going on. But this is going to be my me time. You guys need to sit here and watch this movie. And I think if you can talk to your kids, they do understand.
Right.
And just let them know. And if you do that maybe like every single day, like, okay, it's mommy's time. You guys need to sit here and play with your toys. You need to sit here and we're going to have some screen time. You know, let them know you need to stay here. And they'll listen and they'll get used to that.
Right.
So I think if you do something like that every single day, this is not something that I did.
But it would help.
But it's something that I wish that I would have done, and that I
Yeah.
want to start doing more with Winston and Layla. But just letting them know, it's mommy's time, and you're playing here. So
Right.
that's something you
And
can
I think that's important because it's teaching them that, like, it's okay to take time for yourself.
Yeah, I think kids need to know that. And that is something that I've been able to communicate with my older kids, is like, I'm still a person too. And I still, like, I have bad days too. And I need time for myself too. And my older kids obviously can understand that.
Yeah.
And Winston is too now. Sometimes if I'm like, I just need a second, he understands, like, okay, mom just needs a little break. But
Do you need some me time, Mom?
yeah, I know. Winston, it's a diaper mommy time. But yeah, I think that it's good for your kids to know that you are a person outside of being a mom.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
it's a really, really good question. I found one that's kind of funny. Okay, this one is from, I can't say this name, so it's AMBDAVPOI. I love your channels. One thing I've always wondered is why you wear shoes in the house. Aren't you afraid of tracking in dirt and gross stuff, especially on carpet? I've seen this comment, and I've seen people ask this a lot throughout the years. Yes. I hate that we all wear shoes in my house. I hate it. I think it's disgusting.
I'll take my shoes off. No, I'm just kidding.
Get your shoes off right now. I always have shoes on. I really do.
know.
When we moved into this house, I was like, I'm going to make signs and I'm going to make everyone take their shoes off. I even thought about like buying my whole family house slippers and like having one box for their shoes, one box for the house slippers. I know we'll wear the house slippers outside and then they'll keep them on and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the mess inside. Or my kids like don't wear shoes in the summer.
Right.
Outside. So then they come in with the crap on their feet.
On their feet.
It's really hard, like when my kids were babies and I knew that like everyone was wearing their shoes in the house.
You're
on the
hyper
carpet,
aware of it.
and then the baby's crawling around. Like, I think it's really gross.
It's funny because I never noticed it before because I didn't grow up in a house that was the norm, but I realized there's a lot of people that do, and I think it's a cultural thing. I'm not sure, but I never did, and I always thought it was weird when people did, but now I get it. So now trying to implement that has been so hard.
It is hard.
Like even for me, because my feet get cold, and we have a lot of hardwood, and my feet hurt if I don't wear shoes. So I'm like, well, I could do the Mr. Rogers thing and have slippers. But then it's like, depending on what door I come in, I don't always have my slippers. And then it's like, do I remember to take my shoes off? And I don't do it all the time.
I know, it is gross. And I am like very aware of the fact that I'm bringing disgusting things into my house all over the floor. I feel better now that my kids are bigger and they're not like on the floor as much.
Mm-hmm.
But we've ruined a lot of rugs, honestly,
Right.
because we're disgusting.
So basically,
But I do think, I know some people think it's so weird that anyone would expect people that came over to take their shoes off.
Oh,
I've also seen that too.
mm-hmm.
So I do agree. It's just kind of like a cultural thing.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten used to. I guess I don't do it in your house though. Maybe because I'm close to you. But like when I go visit somebody that I'm not totally friends with, I go to take
To
my
be
shoes
polite,
off
right.
to be polite. But why don't I do that in my own house?
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's like, you're running in really quickly. You're going to grab something. You're going to be there for a minute. You're going to get whatever you need. And then you're out the door again. So it's like, you have to take your shoes off and put them back on.
And my feet get cold. Like it's cold.
Yeah, we have a
I
lot of
don't like
tile.
it. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Anyways, that's funny because I've
just
seen
live
that
in
too.
the filth.
People are like, "You guys are disgusting." Yes, we know.
We're trying.
Learning new things.
We
We're trying.
vacuum, we Swiffer, we carpet clean.
Yes.
We do our best.
Our kids clean up after us, crawling around and eating stuff off. No, just kidding.
Yeah, they eat the filth.
That's gross.
So gross.
You're making it worse. Sorry.
Anyways, I thought that was funny. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, we should talk about this. I've seen this a lot.
It is funny. Is it like a country thing? Because I feel like the friends that I've had from Canada have done that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I
Canadians
actually
do
know
that?
a lot of people, like when I went to their house growing up, that we had to take our shoes off.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I want to say, like, when my parents first built their house, they had a lot of carpet because it was just during a time when you put carpet, like, everywhere. And I think that my mom made us take our shoes off because there was carpet in the entryway.
Mm.
That didn't last long.
Yeah, right. It's hard. All right, our next question comes from Sarah Elisaurus, I think. Well, she asks, do you ladies ever see yourself living somewhere else besides Idaho? How about you?
You know what? I always thought I would be back in Utah, and that's where I'm from. I love Utah. I have a lot of family in Utah. And when we decided to move to Idaho after we lived in California, first of all, I never thought I would leave Utah. Then we went to California and we loved it. And then we decided to move here and give it a try. And now that my kids are older and it just kind of feels like we're more established here, I think we'll be here forever.
Really?
I don't think we'll ever live anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't like to project too far into the future because every time I think something, then it doesn't go the way I think it will. But I don't really see us moving, at least for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the beginning, like, we did move around a lot. And even when we moved to California, we moved around a lot in California or in LA. And, you know, once we came back, like, I just feel like we're so ingrained in Idaho. And when we left the first time, it was like, it was cool to get out, but it made me so grateful for Idaho and for not even just the fact that we have a lot of family here, but just like the mountains and the seasons and just the community, the people, the peace. Like, I love it here. So I don't see us moving anytime soon. But with that being said, I'm also the type of person that if change happens and it feels right, then we'll go for it. So
Yeah.
you never know, but I don't see it happening.
I think it's harder too when your kids get older. Like,
Yes.
like having teenagers and they have their friends and like that is like everything to them. That's why we ended up staying here too, was because Braylee was older and her friends were so important and being here was so important to her.
Right.
And I think it's harder to move your kids around when they're older. When they're little, they're like, they can make friends with anyone, anywhere, and it's not a big deal. But then also thinking, you know, it's more likely that my kids will kind of stay in Idaho, I would think.
Right.
I mean, I hope that they travel. I hope that they experience other places, but I want to be close by my kids.
Right.
I'm such a creep. And Gage is the sweetest. He's always like, you can live with me.
Oh,
And I was like,
he's so
you
cute.
better be careful what you say.
Yep.
Your wife might not appreciate that because I will move in with you.
You're like, okay, can you just sign here and like put that in writing? So
Yeah. I mean, my dream would be to be, you know, close by all of my kids so that when they had kids and I'm a grandma, I could be with them all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And maybe that will take us somewhere else in the
Right.
future. If all my kids move somewhere, I'll move
Right.
too.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that one.
I just really want my kids around me all the time. I'll follow
I
them.
agree. I'll follow you. I'll
follow you. Nice try. I feel like Braylee will be one that will be like, later. And I'll never be able to chase her around, but
I'm like, Mom, no.
At least I know Gage.
Right? You can live with me, Mom. That's so cute.
Know, he's so
sweet.
So cute. He's so cute like that.
I love him.
It's like, be careful. Your wife is going to hate me. Okay, I'm going to look for another one here. Okay, one more really quick. This one is from Brianna McHale. What do you do when your toddler starts rejecting food at every meal? My son is 14 months old and will hardly eat anything at meal times. This past week, please help.
That's a good
Girl,
one.
I feel you with all my kids. They were
Right?
all hard. You know what I noticed with all of my kids, every single one of my kids, is when they started getting picky about food, if I would put it on my plate first and be like, this is so good, like broccoli, I would be like, this broccoli is delicious. They all wanted to try it.
Really?
So that's something that I've always tried to do, is be like, this is mommy's food and it's so good. And then they'd be like, please give me some of your food. And
like reverse psychology.
maybe I'll share one piece of broccoli.
Of broccoli.
It looks and it looks like a tree. Something else that I think helps is finding cute plates.
Yeah.
That's something that I've always tried to do, is like finding characters, and then you cover the characters and they have to eat the food, and then find the character underneath. And or like doing
idea.
different shapes with their food. You know, you can use cookie cutters to cut out sandwiches. Different things like that have helped. But my kids are picky, and sometimes it's like, different things. My kids love chicken nuggets. I know they're not the greatest. I try to get like the healthiest chicken nuggets I can find, giving them chicken nuggets, and then saying like, giving them a vegetable. And I heard someone say this the other day, and I thought that is such a nice way of saying it, that you need to take a polite bite of each different thing that I have put on your plate.
Yeah.
A polite bite.
Polite bite.
Isn't that like
That is
so great?
good.
Like, you need to be polite. I gave
least
you
try
this
it.
food, and you need to just try one bite of everything. Because I think sometimes food freaks kids out, and when
Yeah.
they get older, they start noticing different textures in different foods, and they can be like, ew. So if you just say you just have to have one bite, then it might surprise them and they'll like it.
Yeah.
I also think, like, give yourself a break, because if you have to give your kid just what they'll eat, sometimes it's chicken nuggets and ramen noodles.
It's hard. Like, kids
It's really hard.
I mean, Gavin was the pickiest eater.
I remember, didn't he only like cereal?
Only liked, well, he would eat cereal, chips and salsa, and quesadillas. So I knew I could get him to eat, like, sometimes even mac and cheese, like those typical kid foods that you'd think they would eat. It just seems like he wouldn't eat it. And now he'll try everything. You know, it's like I don't know, that kid, he's like got an expensive palate. He's like sushi, and like he'll try it. You know, he won't always like it, but he'll try it. And that's what I've tried to tell my kids, is just try it. Just put it in your mouth and taste it. If you have to spit it out, that's fine. But just try it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work. Sometimes they don't do it. Sometimes they do. But I think it was you that told me about intuitive eating. And I haven't finished the book, but I started listening to it. And she talks about how kids will eat, you know, when they feel like it and what they want, and like they survive.
Yeah.
So not to stress out about it.
Right.
You know, like maybe they won't try vegetables for a long time, and that's okay. But I try to make an effort to always offer it, because if you're not offering it, then they get used to just eating what's there.
Yeah.
And so I always put like even just a piece of asparagus or a piece of broccoli, and we'll see what happens. And the other day I mixed like garlic salt with butter and a little bit of broccoli, and I roasted it. And I haven't done that for a long time, and Brock's like, my new favorite food is roasted broccoli, Mom. And I was like, really? So you never know. Like, they go in phases and spurts, and if you keep putting it on their plate, then eventually they might be like, oh, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. You can, something else that I've also done is, my kids love mac and cheese. So I have like cut up vegetables and put it in their mac and cheese, and then they
That's
eat
good.
it, not really realizing that, you know, just cut it up small enough. They just kind of get little pieces with each bite.
Yeah.
And that is a way of like sneaking some good in there with the rest.
Yeah. But don't stress out about it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys for asking us questions. And if there's anything else you want to know, leave it in the comments below. Message us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.